Welcome to Aniplot. Today anime recap is The World is Still Beautiful, released in 2014. Like and subscribe for more recaps. Nike, the fourth and youngest princess of the Rain Kingdom, arrives in the Sun Kingdom after losing a bet with her sisters to become the betrothed of the Sun King, who is rumored to be a merciless monster that conquered the world just 3 years after his ascension to the throne. Things, however, do not go smoothly from the beginning. Immediately after she arrives, her possessions are stolen, leaving her without any means to reach the palace, and the people of the kingdom are hostile and rude to her due to her country being less well developed than the Sun Kingdom. Thankfully, a kind family of commoners take her in, and Nike resolves to repay their kindness. When the elder sister of the family is kidnapped by mistake, Nike rushes to save her and uses her power over the weather to defeat the lecherous men before forcing them to take her to the palace. However, when she arrives, she is shocked to discover that the Sun King, the man who conquered the entire world and is now her betrothed, is a mere child. Livius, the Sun King, turns out to be a boy, leaving Nike shocked. After finding out that Nike is the Rain Princess, he orders her to bring forth rain for his amusement. Enraged that he wants to use her gift for entertainment, Nike tells him that she cannot call the rain without first experiencing the beauty of the world. Livius provides an assortment of things, from dresses to a wonderful meal, but she still refuses. Nike tells Livius that she meant the world as in the nature surrounding them. As time goes on, Nike discovers that Livius sees no beauty in the world and becomes determined to show him what beauty really is. However, things do not go as planned. An assassination attempt is made against Livius, and Nike pushes him out of the way only to get hit by an arrow herself. Thankfully, the arrow did not hit anything vital. Livius is shocked though and sends Nike away by carriage for safety. After Nike leaves, another assassination attempt is made, this time by burning down the palace with Livius still inside. Nike sees the smoke and runs back to the castle. There, she summons her rain in order to save Livius. Upon seeing the rainbow that forms after the rainfall, Livius smiles. A party is held for Livius to present Nike as his bride. A group of foreign nobles enter the garden where Nike is and mock her. Livius sees this and mocks them in turn before using Nike's lap as a pillow. Nike suggests he rest and reduce his workload, and they end up arguing. Nike feels hurt and thinks that he does not care. In her room, she sings and remembers her conversation with her mother. She thanks her maids for putting beautiful flowers in her room, but they say that the king personally picks them every day in order to let her feel at ease. Nike smiles and says that he is an idiot. The party goes well, but Nike still does not appear. Even Livius does not know where Nike is, but is convinced by his butler to have some faith in the princess he chose as his bride. After a moment, they hear a song and Nike enters surrounded by rose petals blown throughout the room by the power of the wind. Nike thanks everyone for attending and sings one more time, summoning rain and mesmerizing the guests. The Ministry of Priesthood, who have the final say on who can marry into the royal family, cancels Nike's engagement to Livius on the grounds she comes from an undesirable country. Nike and Livius are adamant they will be married, so the priesthood demand that Nike take the rite of illumination to prove that she is worthy to be the wife of Livius. She must venture into a cave and navigate through an old temple to find an ancient ring to give to Livius as his wedding ring. However, Livius warns Nike that throughout history many princesses forced to prove themselves on the rite of illumination never made it out of the cave alive. Nike takes the rite of illumination, but upon entering the cave to retrieve the ring, she finds the ring is missing, and she is surrounded by Ministry of Priesthood members, revealing that the priesthood has used the rite of illumination for hundreds of years as a method of assassinating princesses they deemed unworthy to marry into the royal family. They attempt to assassinate her, but she escapes after meeting Livius in the cave, who followed her using a secret tunnel only he knew about. During the engagement ceremony, neither Livius or Nike have an engagement ring, so instead Nike uses her power to create a white rainbow in a perfect ring around the sun. One of the failed assassins furiously reveals that Livius had entered the cave with Nike, which is against the law, also accidentally revealing the truth of their attempted assassination. Though Livius could have the assassins executed, Nike chooses to forgive them. The lead assassin tearfully admits Nike has made Livius a better king, while the head priest formally recognizes Nike and Livius as an engaged couple. A childhood friend of Livius arrives, Luna of the Ocean Kingdom, who insists that she is Livius' real fiancée, even though Livius has never once asked her to marry him, and in fact finds her rather annoying. She makes Nike's life miserable by outdoing her at everything. Luna's jealousy reaches its peak when she sees Livius acting happy around Nike. The next day she challenges Nike to a game of chicken, racing their horses to the aqueduct. First one to stop loses, and if you don't stop you fall, and your life is forfeited. Nike accepts and they race. Luna falls after realizing that she cannot compare to Nike, who loves Livius for his weaknesses as well as his strengths. Nike saves Luna by summoning the wind. Though it exhausts her greatly, Luna leaves on happy terms. Nike calls Livius by his given name for the first time, and he kisses her suddenly. Livius's uncle, Bard, whom Livius has hated since childhood, returns from his travels around the world. He is handsome, popular with women, and talented, and he immediately tries to seduce Nike. Bard, Nike, and Livius all attend a banquet hosted by the nobility. While Livius is out on the balcony waiting for Nike, Bard abducts Nike to her room. Nike finds out that Bard does not really want to seduce her, but was testing her to see if she was suitable to marry his nephew. Livius finds them at that very moment and has Nike confined to her room while planning to personally torture Bard to death for adultery. Nike realizes that she wants to help Livius and Bard reconcile their feelings. She breaks Bard out of prison and sets up a plan to get Bard and Livius alone to talk to each other freely. With some of their past ill will resolved, Livius orders Bard to take up his old position as Prime Minister. Bard agrees, then immediately begins flirting with Nike again, causing another fight with Livius. Nike receives a letter from the Principality of Rain, which says that Nike's grandmother Tohara collapsed and therefore wants to see Nike in case she should die. Nike remains silent about this until after she performs a rain summoning for the Sun King's guests. Livius points out that her rain wasn't as good as it usually was, which leads to Nike confessing what was written in the letter. Livius immediately cancels all of their plans so that he, Nike, and his butler Neil can travel to the Principality of Rain to see Nike's grandmother together. However, it turns out that her grandmother is okay and only threw out her back. After meeting her grandmother, Livius meets her sisters. Kidora, Nike's cousin, comes in and plans with Tohara to stop Nike from returning with the Sun King. Also, since Livius did not seem to be enjoying their trip, Nike tries to cheer him up by letting him see the Principality of Rain's stars and making him rice porridge. While talking, Nike realizes she loves Livius and kisses him. This startles both and causes them to blush. Kidora is shown watching the two in the background. Nike was asked to come and talk by Kidora, but was tricked and put into a prison that restrains her rain-summoning power. Her grandmother has been plotting to erase the memory of Livius so that she could keep Nike with her. Luckily, Livius had already known this and tries to find Nike. With the help of Nike's sister, he escapes. He encounters her grandma, and she throws the key to Nike's cell into the lake. She would not acknowledge Livius and Nike's being together if he could not find the key. Livy is drowned by a huge wave, while Nike is attempting to break free from the cell by throwing her body against it, causing harm to herself and declaring that she loves Livius. Both say that a life and future without each other would be pointless and would be like death itself. Unable to bear looking at her pain, Kidora unlocks the cell and lets her go. After escaping, Nike meets her sister who helped Livy because she wanted to think for herself and not just follow. Her sister tells her that Livy drowned trying to prove that he was right to marry Nike. When Nike arrives, it seems as though he is not going to awaken. But when he does, Livius says he has won Tohara's game and found the key. Like Nike, they both triumphed. Later on, Nike's other sisters apologize for the things they did to Nike and Livius. Nike and Livius are then dressed up and he meets Nike's mother, who has gotten better. They are celebrated by the people of Principality of Rain, and Livius declares he will love and protect Nike. After the party, Livius confronts Kidora and lets him alone to talk with Nike. Nike returns to the Sun Kingdom with her grandmother seeing her off. When they return, it seems Bard has slacked off a bit and invited many guests. Livius has to work for many days, as does Nike, since they were gone for so long and so much needs to be done. However, they do not get to see each other at all during the time they work, and both get lonely. At last, Livius reunites with Nike in a secret place Livius showed her, and they confess they missed each other and need each other. They kiss, and the episode ends showing all the different memories